The review request email. Turning digital buyers into public proof. A single, well-timed email can turn a silent download into the testimonial that sells your next 100 customers. Most creators treat the sale as the finish line. The Stripe notification hits, the download link fires off automatically, and everyone moves on. But the sale is the starting gun for the most valuable email you'll ever write. A well-timed review request turns an anonymous $27 ebook buyer into a named, quoted, screenshot-able reason for the next 100 people to trust you enough to buy. Almost nobody does this well, which is exactly why it works. You're competing with silence, not a flood of polished campaigns. Why this one email outperforms almost everything else you send. A review request email has something almost no other email in your sequence has: a warm, freshly paying reader who already trusts you enough to have handed over their card. Open rates on post-purchase emails routinely run well above cold newsletter sends because the subject line isn't competing against a stranger's inbox fatigue. It's landing with someone actively thinking about the thing they just bought. That warmth decays fast, though. Wait 3 weeks, and you're emailing a person who's forgotten what they downloaded. The payoff compounds too. A single specific testimonial, a name, a result, a sentence you could screenshot, does more for your storefront's conversion rate than another week of posting. Buyers don't trust your own copy about your own product. They trust the words of someone who looks like them. Pull up a live example store and notice how much of the page is other people's words. Timing. Send it when the product has actually been used, not just delivered. Instant store. Fan delivery means the buyer has the file, the course login, or the meeting link within seconds of paying. That's a delivery event, not a consumption event. And the review request needs to follow the second one, not the first. Tie the timing to behavior, not just a calendar. If you can see download or login activity in your customer list, use it. A buyer who opened the file on day 1 is ready for the ask on day 3. Someone who hasn't opened it needs a gentle nudge instead. Writing the ask so it reads like a favor, not a form. The biggest reason review request emails get ignored is that they sound like customer satisfaction surveys instead of a person talking to another person. Cut the phrase, "leave a review" entirely. Nobody wakes up excited to do that. But people do wake up happy to help someone who helped them. If you ask like it's a conversation, keep the email under 80 words. Ask one question, and make replying as easy as hitting reply. A structure that consistently outperforms generic asks. Open with a specific line referencing what they bought. Ask one narrow question about outcome or moment of value. Close by telling them exactly what you'll do with their answer. That last part matters more than people think. I might feature this in my next email to other creators. Gives the reply a purpose beyond your inbox. And purpose is what gets people to write 3 good sentences instead of "great, thanks." Reference the exact product by name in the first sentence. Ask one specific question, "What's the one thing that clicked?" instead of "any feedback." Keep it under 80 words and skip the corporate tone entirely. Tell them where the reply might be used. Social proof. A future broadcast, the checkout page. Make replying to the email itself the only action required. Sign it with your name, not your brand name. What's the one thing in the guide that actually changed what you're doing this week? Gets you a testimonial. How was your experience? Gets you silence or a thumbs up emoji. The one follow-up that doubles your reply rate. Most creators send one review request and stop. That leaves real replies on the table. Plenty of buyers genuinely mean to respond and simply lose the email in a busy inbox. One follow-up sent 4-6 days later, only to non-openers, meaningfully lifts total responses without annoying anyone. Keep the follow-up shorter than the original. No worries if you're mid-project still. If you did get a chance to dig in, I'd love one honest line about how it's going. Build the sequence once inside your broadcast tool. filter by non-openers, and let it run on autopilot for every future sale instead of remembering to send it manually each time. What to actually do with the replies you get? A testimonial sitting in your inbox is worth nothing. The point is redistribution, pulling that sentence out of a private reply and putting it where a future buyer will see it in the 10 seconds before deciding whether to trust you. Keep a running swipe file where you paste every usable quote the day it arrives, tagged with the product. Ask permission once, generically, in your original request. Mind if I quote this, first name only? Add the strongest 2-3 quotes to the product page inside your store designer using a testimonial content block. Rotate a fresh quote into your next newsletter or broadcast email as social proof rather than always leading with a hard pitch. Save the single best line as a pinned highlight near checkout. A specific result beats 5 generic 5-star badges. Retire quotes older than a year or tied to an outdated product version so your proof always looks current. This is also where a review request quietly does double duty as a retention play. Someone who takes the time to write you 3 thoughtful sentences about your ebook is a prime candidate for your next launch. A discount code for returning buyers, or an invite to a higher priced offer. Don't file the reply away and never speak to that person again. A short thank you. This made my week reply from you. The human is often the moment a one-time buyer becomes a repeat one. Mistakes that quietly kill your reply rate. Sending the ask from a no-reply address. It signals you don't actually want to hear back. Asking for a public review on a third-party site before you've earned a private one in your own inbox. Bundling the request with an upsell in the same email. It reads as a pitch wearing a testimonial costume, reusing the exact same subject line and body forever, so repeat buyers notice the copy-paste. Assuming silence means people disliked the product, when it usually just means the email got buried. FAQ. None of this requires new tools you don't already have. If you're delivering digital products, running courses, or booking coaching calls through store.fan, the customer list and broadcast tool needed to run this loop are already built in. The only missing piece is usually the habit. One email, sent at the right moment, turned into a system instead of an afterthought. Send the ask to your last 10 sales this week, and read more guides for what to do with the proof once it rolls in. Stuck setting it up? Contact support and we'll help. Key takeaways. Send the ask after realistic consumption time, not after delivery. A 40-page workbook and a 6-week course need very different clocks. Ask one specific question, not leave a review. Specificity is what makes replies quotable. Frame it as a favor between 2 people, never as a transaction or a demand. One reminder, sent 4-6 days later to non-openers only, roughly doubles total replies. Every reply is raw material. Route it into your storefront, checkout page, and next broadcast before it goes cold. Start your creator store, free, at store.fan.